This is how to measure a t-shirt. You are going to need one clear ruler and one tape measure. Also, one t-shirt. I'm going to start with a t-shirt that my son knows and loves so much. I'm taking these measurements because I'm going to make him another one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this garment as flat as humanly possible. I'm not going to try to stretch it too much, just enough so that my measurements will be accurate. I don't want to be measuring over folds and lumps. You may notice that on knit garments, your side seam will come forward like this. That's called torque. That happens because the knit fabric wasn't relaxed enough before it was cut, and the fabric itself is trying to return to the circular shape in which it was knitted. So I'm going to start at the top with my shoulder slope measurement. This is taken by placing your clear ruler at the very top of your high point shoulder, the edge of the ruler at the high point on both sides, and then you measure down the measurement of your shoulder angle. So on this side, it's 3/4. On this side, I'm getting closer to 7/8. This is probably just because it's been washed. I'm going to go ahead and go with the 3/4 measurement. Oh, and let me label this little boy T. Then my neck width. I'm going to take this from seam to seam, 6 inches. I always take this measurement from seam to seam because this is reflective of the pattern shape, your seam line. The only reason that you might ever include the trim width in this is if you're measuring a binding, because it is enveloping the self fabric here, so you are in essence taking the measurement from the same spot. But I would never include any kind of rib or band width here because the setting of the band and the rib could sometimes be inconsistent, and it might cause your neck shape to be a little wonky. Okay, so your front neck drop. This is measuring down from your high point shoulder straight down to your center front neckline. And this dictates how deep your neckline will go on body. So I'm going to measure straight down from the ruler to my center front neck at the seam line, and that's 2.5. I'm going to do the same thing for the back neck drop, but I am going to guesstimate just a little bit here. This garment has a back neck tape, so I'm just going to guess that my seam is at the center of the neck tape. So I'm going to place my clear ruler again at the high point, and then you can see right through it's about 1.25. Then my across shoulder measurement is at the top of your shoulder from seam to seam. This is 9 3/4. My across chest measurement, because this is a little boy shirt, I'm going to go down only 3 inches. You can mark this point with safety pins on either side from high point down if it makes you feel more comfortable, just to make sure that you're measuring from the consistent place all the way across. I'm just going to eyeball this. 8 3/4. This measurement dictates your shoulder and your armhole shape. My next measurement, I'm going to write down exactly where I took that cross chest, 3 inches down, so I can do the same thing on the back. So my next measurement is my armhole depth from high point shoulder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten this out as much as I possibly can again and just try to get these sleeves to come up a little bit so I can see the armhole shape, what it would look like on the front panel pattern. I'm going to place my clear ruler at the bottom of the armhole, and then I'm going to measure down from the high point shoulder, and I'm getting 5.5 inches. Sleeve length. You can take this from center back neck all the way down or from your shoulder seam. It depends on the purpose of what you're doing. I'm going to take this from center back neck because we love where this sleeve is hitting on his body. He says it feels really comfortable, so I'm going to keep measuring it from the center back neck. If I was just doing the pattern duplication, I would take the sleeve measurement to the shoulder seam, 4 3/4, and then I can just draft a sleeve based on that. But for here, what we're doing, let's see. So I'm getting about 9 3/4 to center back neck. Bicep circumference. I'm not going to take it because this is a short sleeve on a very, very short, tiny actual sleeve. But if you do, you can take this measurement at the bottom of the armhole here, all the way across, straight across your sleeve. So this would be 5 inches, or a little bit further down if you have any shaping built in. But just make a note of where on the sleeve you're taking that measurement from in case you need to check it on the other side. I do have a sleeve opening measurement here. I'm getting a little over 4 inches. So after it's been washed and stretched, and even the setting of the hem can cause it to be a little bit stretched out, I'm going to guess that the sleeve opening is about 4 inches. I like to do flat measurements for knits. It's just easier for me to think of it that way. If I'm doing wovens, I multiply them as I go, so I know the full circumference measurement. So if I was doing a woven, that would be 8 inches for the sleeve opening. So my next measurement, total bust circumference. I'm using the women's spec sheet, but you can do this as just your chest. So I'm going to go from armhole to armhole here, and I'm getting a little bit over 12, about 12 1/4. We obviously don't need front and back bust because this is the same front and back. If you were going to do a waist circumference and a waist placement, what you would do is your waist placement is coming from your high point shoulder. So you would measure down from your high point to the narrowest point of the shaping here at your knit garment. And then you would take it, you know, say it's here, then that's where you would take your waist circumference. And again, you would mark what placement you're using coming down from high point shoulder. But this is because it's just a little box. I'm just going to go ahead and take the bottom opening. And it is about 12 1/2. Probably was stretched out just a tiny bit when they were setting the hem. I'm going to change this where it says waist placement. I'm just going to say bottom opening. Then the last measurement I'm going to take on the front is my length, my total length from high point shoulder, which is almost 14 3/4. Okay, and then that's it for the front. I'm going to try to take as many measurements as I can on the front before I flip the garment over, because I don't want to have to try to replicate getting this as flat as possible, and maybe losing measurement in the process because I'm accidentally measuring over a fold because I flipped the garment too many times. So I aim to only flip it once. So now I'm going to go to the back. And again, just try to get it as flat as you possibly can. It's always a little bit tricky with a knit because it kind of just wants to sit where it wants to sit and not necessarily where you want it to sit. So I'm going to place this here just to double check my back neck drop. About 1 1/4 does look pretty good. So I'm going to keep that. And then the only other measurement that I have here is my cross back. And it's 3 inches down. And again, you can place a safety pin here. I'm just going to eyeball it. And I'm getting 9. Again, you'll use this measurement for shaping your armholes. And that, my friends, is how you measure a t-shirt.